rumors of Branded's demise have been greatly over-exaggerated. The new points list for Genesys format just came out, and we have a lot to talk about, especially as Branded players. A lot of people have been DMing me saying, oh, Branded's dead now, and even I had a reaction that was very similar when I first woke up, but now I'm actually taking a look at the deck and testing with it, and you know, we have come up with a killer list that's arguably better than last format's Genesys branded list. This was a buff, folks. So let's get into it. Branded best deck. Leave a comment down below if I was right about this. Let me know if this was cope, because this list genuinely looks incredible, and you guys are going to be able to compete with branded. And let's get right into it, guys. All right, so this is going to be my updated deck list, guys. It's 40 card branded Despia with some Dracotail in between. So I think this is the best way to really run the deck, to have like a really just like coherent game plan, really good like going first and going second with the Dracotail engine and top of the branded Despia engine. I think that not a whole lot actually ends up changing, because we'll have to go over the actual changes for branded itself, right? Because a lot of the points ended up being adjusted. Essentially, branded fusion is 40 now. However, Mirror Jade and Lubellion are only 10 now, so we get to run Lubellion now. But a lot of the other names do have points now, in terms of like Grand Guignol. Albion's 20 now, so we can only really run one of that anymore. And then like random things like Sprine has points now, so that's kind of annoying. But I think that overall, like Titanclad, you basically can't run anymore because it has 10 points, and the new cards don't have it or have points right now. We don't know about Mercurier, because Mercurier has no points on the database and it has points on the article. So I don't know if this is being adjusted, so I'm currently not playing with it. However, so you guys can choose to run this if it actually doesn't get points. But overall, I think this actually is a slight buff for branded, because having the Lubellion means you have infinite grind game, because before you would just run out of Albions eventually once you banish them all. So this is actually kind of a buff. It does help our one card combo actually get better, and we're going to show off an insane one card combo at the end of this video. So once again, if this video gets to 150 likes, we will show off the advanced combo guide for the new Genesys deck, and we will be doing the modern advanced combo guide in the next few days. Don't worry, I know you guys have been really just so supportive lately. I do appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. So yeah, we're gonna go into the card by card and show off that one card combo, and then you guys can go off and go show why branded's best deck. So we're running Ad Libitum, so Ad Lib is going to be there for looping Mirror Jade, obviously, and Ad Lib is a part of the combo, so it's really good for just having that ability to constantly keep in rotation, then loop your board pieces while giving yourself more advantage. Next, we have 3 Albion the Shrouded Dragon. Just consistency, 3 Aluber, 2 Cartesia, and 1 Quem, of course, because they are 3 points a pop. These basically are your last 10 points that you have, and these you have to run because sometimes you're just playing Cartesia Quem control. And you might be like, oh, we aren't running Titanclad anymore. How do we get Quem into your rotation? Well, we have something called Despia and Lulu Wall Lilith, which is 0 points, and it's very good in this deck, so we're going to get into that. And then 1 Despian Tragedy. This is part of the new best combo for the deck, so it's in, plus we have Branded Fusion. Or sorry, we have Lubellion now, so this is very important for the 1-card Lubellion combo as well. And then we have Dracotail Frixel with Urgula, plus 2 Dracotail, Rahu Dracotails and Rahu or Dracotail Flame. So I'm running this because I need a better Albion line, essentially, sometimes. I'm just going to go Albion off a Branded Fusion. And this is a very good way to end on at least Mirror Jade plus a Spell Negate, which is pretty good if you have nothing else than a Luber. I think that's probably better than the other 1-card combo, depending on how it is, right? Depending if you have discards. And I think that having the Dracotail access makes your Shadal package really good, and I was already running Construct because I'm running a little bit of an extended Despian package, so it makes my 3 High Spirits a lot more alive, and it lets me get to a Spriggan's Kit and just makes my deck, it keeps up the consistency of the deck. So overall, I already tested with the Dracotail stuff in the past, and I really liked it, so in Genesys, and I feel like this is a perfect time to lean on that and give us a better, you know, make up for some maybe, I mean, the main deck didn't really change too much, and I'm using actually the non-engine package of the top 8 Sao Paulo Invitational branded deck, so not a whole lot changed in the main deck. It's just the extra deck that changed, and really we can compensate for a lot of that. I really do think branded is still going to be one of those top 10 decks in Genesys. It's not a lot of decks can deal with Mirror Jade, and now we could even run 2 Mirror Jade if we wanted, but I think that some of these other pieces are more important. I'm hoping also Konami restricts or relaxes some of these point adjustments on Branded. Branded wasn't that good, and I think they did a lot of them just to address Fallen and the Virtuous, so that a lot of decks weren't using this as a generic engine in Genesis. However, that just ended up hitting Branded a lot more than it did those decks, in my opinion. So I'm really hoping they do something about the other names and just make this like 50 points so that no one can really use it as that engine. But I feel like the answer is not hitting 15 cards. It's really just like making the problem card go to 50 points. However, I think a lot of people overreacted like they did the first points list, essentially, because a lot of people saw all the adjustments, all the cards having points now, and didn't actually build the deck. Even I thought it was dead the second time around because there were like 15 hits. But overall, I think that's actually a slight buff because of the Lubellion, guys. It's crazy how that ends up working out. Like, Konami knows what they're doing. However, I think it's just like the Fallen and the Virtuous should just be more points, and like think like there's no reason why Sprine should be 10 points, frankly, you know. It's just like kind of annoying. But yeah, besides that point, Book of Lunar Eclipse is so good in a format with Xyz and Synchro decks, so that's why we're running that. It's also a good discard. And Kaiju is also very good into probably Super Quant, which will be the best deck, one of the best decks. It'll be probably a top 5 deck besides like MST and Odeon, and that's why we're also running the Dracotail engine, because we have Dracotail Urgula, which is a non-target pop, which is quite good. And then also we can use the Dracotail Gulamel to pop another card, so it's just like a double pop board breaker. And with the Shadal cards, it gets even more crazy, so that's why I really like that. And then 1 Branded Fusion, 3 Branded High Spirits. Mandatory, very consistent, helps your consistency. 1 card starters. I mean, I guess Branded High Spirits isn't a 1 card starter, you just have to have another piece, but all of these, pieces are basically, as long as you have another monster, you get to Branded Fusion, so this card's really insane in this deck, especially with the construct. And then you have the Branded in red, 1 Branded in white, and 1 Branded Banishment. These cards are just crazy with Ad-lib especially. And Branded white is really good with the Dracotail stuff, so that's why I'm running that. And then 3 Branded Opening, 3 Fusion Deployment, 2 Rahu. I'm siding the third. It's just like you don't need the third necessarily, and it's kind of searchable off a Branded Fusion, so. And then 1 Branded Retribution, 1 Dracotail Flame. Dracotail Flame, insane for this format where there's a lot of board breakers. So I feel like this just like is better than the Romarin line that we were doing before, because Romarin doesn't end on anything basically besides a Mirror Jade. But this is at least a Spell Negate plus a Mirror Jade, right? And that's pretty good in a board breaker format. And having that kind of grind game possibility with drawing a card as well is really good. We're running 2 Alba Lenatus for the extra deck, and then 1 Albion, the Branded Dragon, on top of 1 Mirror Jade. And then 1 Lubellion, and then, of course, 1 Rinbrum. So, yeah, these are all the Branded fusion monsters that we're running, but I feel like that's enough. 2 Alba Lenatus feels really good because I'm siding a Poly as well for going second for more board breaking. You could also main this Poly. I just don't know exactly what to cut. It could be maybe 1 Rahu, but everything else feels pretty mandatory, frankly, so I'm just siding the Poly. But running 2 Alba Lenatus means I should be, playing a Poly so I can at least search it off of that, which is pretty cool. And then also we are running the 1 Quertus and then the 1 Grand Guignol. Rest in peace, Grand Guignol, going to 10. I wish I could run 2 of this thing, but we can only run 1. And then 1 Borreload, it's pretty good with the Poly. And then also just like you have a lot of Dark Dragons on top of your Albion, and then so that's pretty cool. And then 1 Gulamel for the Dracotail engine, 1 Construct for the Shadal engine, and also as a High Spirits bridge with the fairies. And then 1 Chaos Star Source, just engine requirement for popping bodies off of Albaz, summon off of Rinbrum, which is still going to be one of your best plays with your end board. And then Stapelia, and then Secretarion, and Lulu Walt Lilith. Lulu is your new Titaniclad, but you have to send it off of Grand Guignol, so this is what you're going to be sending off of Grand Guignol most of the time, if not Ad-lib. So that's pretty cool, but you should be getting Ad-lib in rotation with your combo anyway. And then for the side deck, it's really just a lot of board breaking, so it's 3 Shadal Fusion, 1 Shadal Beast, and then you have 2 Fusion Dupe. And I kind of want to run another Shadal, though. Maybe like 2 more Shadal cards to make Fusion Dupe more alive with Shadal Fusion going first, but I don't know. Depends, because you don't want side Shadal Fusion going first, especially when Vanquish Soul's probably dead. And that's also why I think Brand is going to be very good this format, because Vanquish Soul just got basically pointed out. I mean, it's still going to be playable, but like it's not going to be as good. They can't run Ash, right? So like it's not going to be as good. And then 3 Lightning Vortex and 1 Rahu, 1 Poly, 3 Twin Twister. A lot of back row decks, Odeon and MST, are going to be very good. So Twin Twister, very good. And then 1 Dracotail Horn for the Dracotail engine. I really want to side a Dracotail Pan, because this card is a non-target pop. So if you guys can find place in the main or side deck for this, I would. It's just very good. It's just I can't. But it's not that mandatory, but it's something for that. But yeah, let's get into the combo. And alright, so shout out to Dank Memes as always from the Discord. He's like honestly the wizard with Genesys branded, so this combo is completely his. This is basically Cartesia access with a Luber, so pretty standard 2-card combo. And then you go special summon Cartesia to play around any like Imperm or Veilers, and then you can normal your Aluber and then go Aluber into branded fusion, right? If you have a Dark Dragon, you can always go for the kit to make your combo a little bit better. But now also High Spirits gets like a little bit weird without having certain things, so we'll have to figure that one out. And then so you can send Fallen of Albaz and Despia and Tragedy, and then go into the Lubellion, the Searing Dragon, and then you use Lubellion, the Searing Dragon's effect to discard the Radiant, and then diffuse off into the monster, and then also trigger the Despia and Tragedy for the ad libitum so that you can get that into rotation, and then you fuse back the Lubellion plus the Mirror Jade, and then you can go Mirror Jade effect to go for Albion into the graveyard to get that into rotation, banish the Mirror Jade, and then you can go Cartesia effect to then fuse off the ad lib plus herself, and then go for the Grand Guignol, and then you can go Chainlink 1 Grand Guignol, Chainlink 2 ad lib, target the Mirror Jade, and then special summon that, and then for Grand Guignol you can send the Lulu Wall Lilith. Oh yeah, this is why Lulu Wall Lilith is so good, because it's basically just a Titan Cloud off of your Grand Guignol that is pretty good. So you can get the Quem into the end phase finally, and then go Quem to send the Albaz, so you have Cartesia, Adlib, and Albaz all in rotation. So this is just like actually a better, this combo is better than what we had essentially, because you can just obviously then go Albion, and then you can set the branded in red here, and you can make a Stepelia from here. You can go branded in red, target like a Adlib, and then fuse off the Mirror Jade, and then you get 2 banishes with Mirror Jade, and you can also potentially loop it a 3rd time with Quem. So you do have a potential 3 Mirror Jade banishes with this board, and then you still have the Quertus and a Stepelia, so that's like 5+ interruptions. So that's pretty good for the 2-card combo overall. And I think that's why we did get slightly buffed, because our ceiling definitely went up because of the Lubellion. I think our grind game, you just have to play a little bit more carefully, but that's why we're running the other things. So I'm going to show off the 1-card combo. All right, so this combo is going to be just with a Luber into just getting a few interruptions. This is why you run the Dracotail engine at a base, honestly. So you can go a Luber effect to go for branded fusion. This is just with, you don't even need a discard for this combo, which is pretty nice. Then you can go branded fusion, send the Frixel from your deck, and then the Albaz from your deck in order to go into the Albion. And then you can go Albion effect, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2 Frixel to set the Dracotail Flame. And then also, actually, no, you can use the discard here, because then you just banish the Aluber, banish the Albaz, and then you get to spin back. This is why the Lubellion is so much better now, right? Because then you get the spell negate, and then you also get follow up with the Albion on the board, and then you spin back the Albion or the Lubellion on the board plus the Albaz into the Mirror Jade, and yeah, so you get 2 interruptions at the very least on your opponent's turn, plus the Dracotail Flame, which is also going to be able to draw you a card, right? So you can always spin that back depending on what you get, maybe a hand trap or just a follow-up piece, which is pretty nice. And this is only a 1-card combo, right? I guess you need a discard, but that's totally fine. And then Mirror Jade can also extending your combo, and then the spell negate might just be enough, right? And plus, like I said, it's just the 1-card combo, so you should have 3 other cards, like maybe Quick Play Board Breakers. That's why you run the Quick Play Board Breakers in branded, so in case you can use them for your end board piece. So yeah, guys, what do you think of this? Was I coping? I think that this really is going to be like a better like branded than it was before in Genesys, which is crazy. We did have a lot of point adjustments, and once again, Konami, please like put Sprine to 0, man. I want Sprine to 0. But besides that, I think they largely buffed it because of Lubellion access, which is crazy. So yeah, with that being said, we'll be seeing you guys later. Have a good one, guys. Also, you didn't even need the discard for that combo. You didn't even need to make Lubellion. You could have just banished this, by the way, and made Mirror Jade, and it like kept the follow-up. So still a 1-card combo. See you guys later.